So, Glenn, I'm worried I might be a psychopath.
I don't think there's no need to worry there. It's already confirmed. I've been in no doubt.
Welcome to The Fix. Sit down with copywriting experts Nick O'Connor and Glenn Fisher as they review, discuss, and improve real-world copy sent in by you. This is The Fix.
Why are you worried that you might be a psychopath?
So I wrote about this this week. So my son has been in hospital, in and out for the last few weeks, seems to be getting better now, but I had 72 hours in the hospital with him over the weekend. And the only thing I could think of to do to relieve the stress or the anxiety, or I don't quite know what the word is, was to call for my laptop and start working. And I thought to myself, is this normal? So you're not a normal man in my estimation, but is that normal or isn't that normal?
What is normal could prompt a discussion that lasts for hours. We don't want to do that. But I would say I think that is normal in inverted commas, on the basis that you want a distraction from the horror of what was going on. And your distraction is to go for things that are of comfort. Unfortunately, in your life, this is probably the bigger thing that you need to go away and think about, is that your form of comfort is to work. That's something that you need to think about. Or maybe you should want to connect with me and send me work. I was doing an academy call, and I was speaking to 3 of our academy students at the time. And I could see out the corner of my eye, my phone just sending messages saying, Nick O'Connor, Nick O'Connor, Nick O'Connor. And I think I got up to 20 by the end of the call. And I said to the guys, I'm sorry, I've got to go now before Nick has a breakdown whilst he's in the hospital. I've got one question, though. You said about you called for your laptop. Now, have you got some kind of superpower that you can just call the laptop? Or did someone bring it to you? Do you have someone who carries your laptop for you?
So no, I had to call my friend. So hospital visits with my children are more regular than I would like. So I am quite good at taking what I need to a hospital appointment in case we're admitted to the ward or whatever. I wouldn't take my laptop in that situation. I would take pajamas for Thomas, a book, things to pass the time. There is a point where you realize I'm staying in overnight here. You're obviously, your child is very well cared for. You are reasonably well cared for as a parent. You're not a patient, you're a parent. But you don't get great food and stuff like that. So you do have to send for supplies. So I had to ring my mate and say, go and get me some more clothes and a toothbrush and get my laptop. Now, I did analyze this because I realized, okay, work that I couldn't face. So this would be the work, as in the stuff that feels like work to me. Anything that involved dealing with another person, like a thorny issue, a difficult client, a snide email from somebody. I got a few of those. We got one from a shared client. Couldn't cope with that. Couldn't cope with like legal changes or edits, or not like, I just was not in the frame of mind to tackle those things. But what I did find was I sort of retreated to, I'm going to say the world of ideas, Glenn, but I mean idea generation. I was thinking about new ideas. That's why I was messaging you, because if I have an idea, I text it to you and say, can you do this? Yeah. So I ended up thinking, okay, you could call that work. But to me, that's actually, I don't know if comfort's the right thing, but the whole experience made me feel lucky that was my retreat, weirdly, to engage with, the world of ideas. And I felt quite lucky at the end of it, because I thought there's not a lot of people often say you need a break from your work, work-life balance, things like that. It made me realize that if you're truly engaged with the sort of creative process as a copywriter, with the ideas part, that's neither work nor life. That is just who you are. So there's no need to balance it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's slightly trite, and we'll not dwell too long, but there is a lesson there that if you genuinely love what you're, there's a million things where you say, like, if you love what you're doing, then you won't work a day of your life. It's all a bit trite and thing. But
there's a grain of truth.
There is a grain of truth there. And me and Ruth talk about it a lot. We're both self-employed. She's a ceramicist and artist, so she does what she loves. But she's up there now in her studio, slogging away 9 to 5 in one perspective. But she's drawing and painting and doing stuff. So she does love it. But then there's the admin of life, what you have to do. But but it's the same with me. I'm sat here working on a sales letter for the academy. And I'll be quite open about it because I love that bit. I love making copy and like putting ideas together and making it look nice. And there's a bit that I wrote when I was like, God, that's really persuasive. Like that would persuade me. And I'm pleased with that. That to me isn't work. That's where you go, oh, well, that's a pleasure that I'm doing the thing that I like. Don't get me wrong. When you've got other clients, you've got stress. There's those moments, that's fine. But you should, A, in a kind of telling off way, you should be very grateful for that. But B, perhaps, if you're not quite there yet, that's something to think about. How do you get there? And I think it's worth taking the time, as you did there in the hospital, to reflect on where you are and have that presence of mind to go, oh no, I'm enjoying this. This is the bit that I like, and I need to remember that. Equally, you have to remember this bit I don't like, and I'll kind of try to reduce those bits as much as possible. Yeah,
or just enjoy them. By the way, I wrote about this to the free fix email earlier in the week. We had lots and lots of people wrote in.
They did. I have forwarded you all of those lovely emails.
Yeah, I enjoyed. I can't reply to them all. One, because I still feel slightly scarred by it. Two, because there was quite a lot, and I'm now behind. But speaking of the mailbag, the digital mailbag, why don't you delve inside?
Let's delve. Let's delve. We've delved by emotional well-being. Let's delve into copy. I've got an email from Kimberly, and she says, "Hey guys, we are looking to revamp our entire website copy and are hitting a bit of a roadblock with our vision and mission statements." There's a lot of triggering words for you here, Nick. I've attached the notes we've been working on, plus some sample ideas. We're wondering if you'd be able to offer some advice. Any and all help would be greatly appreciated. Kind regards, Kim. So we have got a document here, which we will, I'll read it out to you, Nick. And then there's going to be a lot here. So you'll be thinking how we can break this down, but it says,
I've already got thoughts.
You've already got vision and mission. I knew would trigger you, but basically the vision and mission is still being honed, and following yet another session this week for the vision, the themes and messages people voted for. So this is where people are liking the kind of themes, using AI to predict the financial experiences where being human is the most important, strengthening human experience of financial services, using AI to create strong human financial services. We, like people, staff, need to adapt or die. Soup up, using AI or lose your job. Being on the side of the people. So the ideas around, so we're obviously in the space of like AI in financial services, how it can help you. That's the company. I won't go into the specific company that it is. And the ideas that are coming out of that is your human expertise enhanced with our AI, future-proof financial services without losing the power of your people, enhancing the heart of financial services with advanced AI. So they're all kind of the same. 3 times efficiency. So the idea that efficiency with AI can help you triple the efficiency. So that is where we are. We've got vision and mission statements. A company talking to itself to kind of figure that out. And then what we're really talking about here, and I guess where the advice that Kim is looking for is, how do you transfer that stuff then into ideas for how you would promote on a top line level, not necessarily at headline kind of stuff, but on a top line level, where would you put your idea generation around that? Nick?
Okay, this is actually easier. This is easier than it sounds. Okay. I would say I'm slightly triggered by the word vision. I'm not triggered at all by the word mission. I love the word mission, and I'm going to come back to that. Vision, I don't know what it means. Why would anybody care about what your vision is? People care about missions. Why do they care about missions? A mission has a start point, it has an objective, and it has an end point. That process is transformative, okay? That is what a mission is. I was rereading Made to Stick the other day. I was writing a masterclass.
Chip and Dan Heath, for anybody who's not...
fantastic book. There was only 2 books I ever made all my staff, new writers, read that I bought for them all. One was Great Leads by John and Mark Ford, and the other was Made to Stick. So well worth reading. And I was actually reading it for I was refreshing myself on another idea. But as I was going through it, actually I was doing this in the hospital. I was writing a masterclass and I was blocking it out because I wanted to, keep myself busy. It talked about the commander's intent, the simplest form of an idea, making it into a command or a mission statement. There was more on it than that, but I loved that. And I think it's worth doing for all businesses, but it needs to be grounded in that context to me. So a vision is like, imagine a military leader. My vision is that the enemy melts away and it's like, no, we're here, they're on that hill, we have to take it. Our goal, our mission is to remove our enemy from that hill by any means possible. Here are our tactics so you start with an objective, it's very, very clear, it cannot be made any clearer or simpler, and then everything branches out from that. What I see in the stuff that's laid out that you kind of ran us through there. One, vision and mission are 2 different things. So I wouldn't, the idea of calling it vision and mission is muddled, in my opinion. I would just call it mission. Yeah. Mission is about destination. Where are we going? What is our objective? Your strategy, your ideas, your execution, your tactics is how do we get there? Almost everything that was laid out there was about the journey, not the destination. There's only one that was, I think it was one of the potential things was 3 times more efficient with no reduction in quality. That's in the ballpark of a mission. It's not a particularly interesting one, in my opinion. What is your mission? Where do you want to get to? So if you were stating it in a weight loss product, it would be to lose weight. Or then you might have an ancillary or a deeper benefit, which is to feel more confident, to lose weight, to fit into the things that you fitted into 10 years ago, to feel younger, fitter, whatever. You can define that. What needs to happen here is what is the destination? And therefore the mission becomes how do you get there? It has to have an active element and it has to have a transformative element, a beginning where you are now, an end where you want to go, and the mission is we want to get you there. I think that is well worth doing for every business, brand, not brand, whatever, above the line, below the line, all those things. So I'm not triggered on that level. I'm triggered because it's muddled up with this idea of vision, which to me is the opposite of mission.
Yeah, and I agree. If you'd like to hire us as consultants to come into any business, we can...
I will shout at you, wag my finger all afternoon, but it's true.
Well, the reason I say that is because I think there's a certain cyclical nature to this, and I won't go too deep into it. I know I do like to do that kind of thing, but vision, mission, statement, all that stuff, it's basically probably, I don't know, someone like a Simon Sinek or something wrote a book 20 years ago. It's actually probably going back to further than that. It's probably something from the 80s and late 90s, where everybody does vision and mission and what have you. And that's like the structure. It's the 10 years. That's how I've always done it kind of way. I get it. I'm not having to go at people, but what we're doing now is freshening up, looking at stuff. And actually what you've got there is in trying to do that vision mission and not really understanding what the vision and mission is there for. Again, most people don't. It's not Kim's thing. That company isn't isolated in that. But because they're using these old frameworks that are kind of a bit dour and behind the times now, they don't quite know why they're doing it anyway. And there's that cynicism with it all, and because it is like vision and mission and all these kind of words. you can tell like sustainability and all this stuff is becoming that. I think what you've done well there, and the reason we kind of laugh and say it's going to trigger, because they are cliches, but yeah, actually, what are you doing? You're trying to get the mission about where you're going to get to. I think what you can see there in those ideas and those kind of potentials for themes, they're actually all pretty much the same. And that's because I think in trying to like fulfill to a vision and a mission and all this kind of stuff, you're not clearly defining the parameters for your thought, i.e., where do we want to get to? And if you can be really honest about that and just go, well, we want to get to the place where people pay us for financial services and we use AI, or people pay us to do AI for financial services or whatever. You have to be kind of honest, first of all, I think. And I think that's what's probably holding some clarity back from these ideas, is that just from purely business perspective, what do you actually want to do? Like, I want to make money by doing this thing. Like, write that as your mission first. Then you can finesse it and go, right, well, we want to get greater efficiency using AI. If that's your mission, what your next bit, your ideas will be going, right, well, how do we get to that? Well, we can do this, we can do that. And that's going through what you've just been saying. It's all about, for me, clarity of thought. And it seems like we're skipping it and going back to like, actually, well, your brief is wrong, or like the question's wrong, and that vision and mission. But it really does throw the rest of it out, because your clarity of thinking is completely gone now, and you're just saying the same things over and over again.
There are two things you could do here. Well, one, I do think the customer needs to be incorporated into your mission. Otherwise, it's too tilted inwards. You know, your mission is only useful. So, for instance, I used to run a publishing business. We published financial advice. Okay, we were a publisher of financial advice. What was our mission? Well, I decided that our mission was to to provide life-changing financial advice by highlighting ideas people wouldn't find elsewhere. Okay, so that's not like pithy, but that was how I would communicate it. Our mission is to change people's lives, because we know great financial advice can do that. That was what we wanted to do for our customer. How are we going to do it? By identifying ideas they won't hear elsewhere, because those ideas tend to be the less discussed, the less analyzed idea may well have a higher value attached to it, especially since you won't hear about it elsewhere. So that had an internal and external component, and it incorporated the customer. So there's that. Bring the customer in, you know. And one way of doing that might be, okay, let's follow the mission through. If I asked you to draw a picture underneath the words mission complete, what would that picture be? What's that image for your customer? Maybe for you, but better if it's for your customer. If it's a mission, it has to have a moment of completion. So, like, it has an end point. At what point have we completed this mission? What does that look like? Because once you figure that out, everything can be reverse engineered from there. Absolutely everything, right down to the body copy you're going to use, the actual execution of the copy. Everything can be run back through that. You know, in the example that I gave, that what we want to do is change people's lives, help them have a wealthier retirement, a happier retirement, whatever it might have been, life-changing advice.
So for Kim's to just move it along. Hopefully there's a load of stuff there that's useful and that thinking, but just to move it back into the specific of, we're looking at financial services and we're looking at how AI helps that. I'm going to posit a thought that from what you're saying and like thinking about it in terms of financial publishing, really what you're saying is, would you agree, or what's your specific thoughts for financial services using AI? My feeling is the mission is actually is nothing to do with AI. It's to get for the customer to make things more efficient and more human kind of thing, make financial services more human and more efficient for the customer. That's the mission. How's the tactic under that? How are you going to get there? We're going to use AI, and we're going to show you how you can use AI to get to a place where financial services is more efficient and more human kind of thing. So that's my kind of thing. That's where I'd be thinking about it. From a specific point, Nick, with regards to AI and financial services, where would you set Kim thinking for ideas?
I would try and get away from the word efficiency because I don't really know what that means. I think efficiency is a benefit to you, not your customer. I think really there's a story in my mind about how. Okay, so you can look at how AI has changed other industries, and you get these studies about AI is great at screening scans for cancer or whatever. It's 20% more efficient, whatever, than a human. But actually, what you tend to find is that the best combination is a fusion of the human and the intelligent machine or the system. That actually the two things are complementary. So I think you probably need to quantify, okay, what can we accomplish for our customers with these tools? How would our customers want us to use them? Like, what do they want? I'd need to know more about the business. If you're picking stocks for them, they want a better return so they want higher returns using the technology, the latest technology that gives them some sort of edge. All investors are looking for edge in some way. So you could go in that direction. If it's customer financial services in a different way, like banking or whatever, it could be that the technology actually frees the human to be more human, to give you a more personalized service. So actually, all of a sudden, it becomes about putting people back into banking, for instance. So actually, the mission becomes the other way around. We can eliminate all of the. Okay, let's use an example to bring this full circle. The doctors in the hospital spend a lot of time filling in paperwork, doing notes, all this sort of thing. It has to be done, has to be documented. And you get 2 minutes of their time in the day and you beg them to help you. What if you didn't have 2 minutes? What if you had 10 minutes with them? Yeah? So you have 5 times as much time. I've just made those numbers up, by the way. How many lives could be saved? How much better might you sleep at night? What better outcomes might there be for a patient if that person could spend more time doing what they're good at and less time doing the back office stuff? To me, that's an AI story. So I'm not quite at a mission statement yet because I don't quite know enough about what the business might be, but that's where I'm going to drive with it.
Yeah.
I think there's an element
you're doing the same thing I'm doing, and this is where I'd set Kim off to do it. There's a conflict at the moment between, in that ideas, in the vision, in all the mission statement, between the conflict between AI and human. And what you can almost see it in the stuff, the ideas at the center and the themes, that they're trying to say, we want to make things more human, but we internally think that AI will make that not possible. So you're kind of fighting that. I actually think you need to just go, right, well, our mission is to make things more human and good and nice and better financial services. AI is a tool for that. AI is part of that journey. The mission is kind of irrelevant with the AI. It's where do we want to get to? I want to get here, so this is better. And then we want to use AI to do that. I just have that dichotomy there more clearly in your...
That's an interesting one. So that makes me think. So let's unpack the word efficiency. Efficiency, what does that actually mean to a customer? What it actually means is lower prices. If you're more efficient as a business, you should... Unless you just allow that to fatten your margin, which you're allowed to do as a company, but you can't say that to your customer. You can say, hey, we found this new technology that makes us more profitable. But if you could say it makes it cheaper, now you have to be careful with that claim. But let's say there's an AI tool which is better than the best hedge fund manager in the world. A hedge fund manager will charge you 2 and 20, probably 2% of the assets that they manage, 20% of the profits.
Just to clarify, that's not 2 and 20 blackbirds. No, it's being baked in a pie.
Yeah, that you got ripped off when you went to that.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, fun.
I was going to swear then, but just a pie full of blackbirds.
Yeah, and
like Wonderful Financial Services. Anyway.
But yeah, so that might be hedge fund, high price, very, very expensive. Lots of people. You need a lot of money to get in the door. AI might democratize that process. This is efficiency still. It could allow you to invest like a hedge fund manager on the wage of a pie maker. I don't know. You know what I mean? So
pie maker. I thought you said pie maker.
I'm thinking about pies because you've got me on pies. But that would be exploring the angle of efficiency and spinning it around saying, what if we could do the very best the financial world has to offer at a price everybody can afford. That is efficiency. And the way you accomplish that is through AI. So all of a sudden your picture, your mission accomplished starts to be like when everybody makes the returns that only the very richest people in the world that are off limits to everybody now. So it becomes a 1%, 99% thing. And then I'd start playing around with numbers. I'd have to know more about it, but it's not hard to see how you can pick up on certain words. That efficiency, what does that mean? What does that really mean to the customer? How might we back that out into a mission complete, an end destination? And then AI doesn't become the goal. It becomes the
facilitator.
You get that.
Yeah, it's the facilitator. It is the journey. It is that stuff. I think that's going to give this person and this team, it sounds like, Harry, it comes back to everything you were saying though originally, though. The problem with vision and mission statements, it means you lack clarity of thought. And I think you as soon as you get the parameters right, then you can just go riff and like start going into these more interesting areas. So I would try and bring that back down. I think we've shared a lot there. Let's wrap it up. Let's get someone to bring you a laptop, Nick. We need to call for your laptop.
Send for my laptop.
Send for your laptop. I will send for my pie full of blackbirds.
And well, I actually think we should say to the person who submitted that copy, send us your mission. Write it out. Once it's crystal clear and specific. Sorry, there's a lot of noise in my house because those kids are coming and going. It's because they're not back at school yet. Once it's crystal clear, we can then critique it as a piece of copy rather than something slightly woollier, which is the state it's in now. It's just the way these things go. But vision, mission, they have a level of specificity, as all great copy does.
Yeah. I also think
I've wrapped up. I've gone back to the lesson. I'm driving in the opposite direction to you. Of course, we can banter some more about something for my blackbird pie.
But for everybody watching and for everybody listening to this, it just shows that copy starts well before writing a word on a page. Like this is the place where you really should be starting to think, right, how do I express what is the idea I'm going to write about? How am I going to do this stuff? Because if you get this bit clear, the copy will be a damn sight easier.
And to go one step further, it's why you need a copywriter in the room when you're doing it. Because I'll tell you for now, if somebody came to me as a copywriter and said, here's my vision, I would not be working on that in the hospital. That's work. That's no fun. I'm not going to generate a good idea off the back of that. I'm going to avoid that for as long as I possibly can because there's nothing for me to worry. You bring me a mission, I will call for my laptop and I'll get that shit written.
On that bombshell, call for the laptop.
If you enjoy The Fix and want to get access to even more good stuff, join the Fix Accelerator today. Get access to special masterclasses from Nick and me, watch expert interviews with industry legends, join live copy feedback sessions every week, and get connected to our very own private copy network. Visit thefixaccelerator.com for more information.